Okay. So I just want to ask, we we say that everything is happening in consciousness.
Yeah.
So can we say that, our attention or focus uh, distracts us from the all-inclusive nature of consciousness?
No. That's what it might seem like. But no, attention and focus is in the dream. So it's something that you can see, your attention or focus. So you can see that you focused your attention on the window or that you focused your attention on your knee. So it's something that's happening. So consciousness is not distracted by it. Consciousness is still conscious of it. It's appearing in consciousness and it's free. What can happen though is that the mind becomes very disturbed, or not disturbed, just neurotic, or very overactive, maybe not even call it neurotic. And then there's a lot of attention in the mind and the identification. And so it's like you're very focused on that. So rather than like being focused on the window or the computer or a TV show, you're very focused on the story of you. And then that can seem very present, but it doesn't affect consciousness. Consciousness isn't affected by anything. What happens is, at some point, there is a detachment between the illusory you and the consciousness, and then there is a residing back in consciousness. Normally, that is preceded by you becoming less neurotic and holding on to so many false ideas. So normally it's like that mind that's very disturbed when you get into this subject settles down. But it's not about attention. Attention is something that's experienced in this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand this. So what you are saying is consciousness is all the time, consciousness itself is not distracted.
No, never.
But my experience is that I am not uh, I uh, as a separate self. I'm not experiencing consciousness all inclusive.
Mhm.
So yeah,
That's simply what you think. So that's what you think is going on, and that's what you're hypnotized into dreaming about. But it's not
right,
true because firstly, there is no solid you that is stuck in a dream. So there isn't a
correct,
solid you. There is thoughts and there's feelings appearing in every moment. And secondly, that hypersensitivity and hyper focus on the character is simply a functioning that's appearing in an immense space. So right now, you're conscious of the room, you're conscious of my voice, you're conscious of everything that's happening. And you believe that's you, but that consciousness is happening automatically. It doesn't take any effort for that to happen. It's automatically there and appearing, conscious of this whole entire room and me and my voice. That's not something you're doing. And then in that, there's a movement of focus that's happening. And then there's also this thinking that's saying, I'm choosing, I'm doing, and then telling a story about what you're going to do, what you have done, where you've been. And then there is a belief that your freedom is found in that storytelling world, whereas the consciousness is here, free, right now. It's not identified. So it's that you're focusing on the wrong thing. So you're saying, I'm not free, because you're focusing on a story that's telling you you're not free, a story that's telling you that you are a limitation. But when there is a relaxation, it can be seen by no one that that consciousness has never been bound, has never moved in time, has never been contained in anything. It is everywhere and everything. It is all things.
okay. So I'm kind of getting it. So you are saying that I'm hearing your voice. I am focusing. All these the voice, your voice appears in consciousness. I mean, uh, without me as Hari.
Mm.
Uh, thi- without me as Hari putting an effort, your voice appears in the consciousness. Is that what you are saying,
Yeah.
actually?
And Harry does too as well. Everything's appearing in that consciousness. But what Harry believes is that Harry believes he's limited, so he has the experience and the feeling of being limited. So he feels like he's a limitation walking around inside of a separate world, whereas actually you're walking around inside your consciousness.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I think I kind of get it. I need to digest it.
Sometimes what happens is that when you're listening to the subject, it's almost like there's some form of zoning out, like it's like you get it in thoughts, but then there's some sort of like moment where it sort of tips over that, and it feels so true to you, but you can't exactly grasp that because it's free, but it feels so true to you, but it's not really conceptual.
Right, right.
It's known.
Okay,
It's the most intimate sense of being.
okay, okay. And second question is like the time. The most difficult thing to imagine. Even I can even imagine in the sense that I may not be experiencing, but I can even imagine there is an awareness, etc. And many of you, who have this non-dual, who communicate this non-dual philosophy, time doesn't exist,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So it's a very difficult thing to imagine. I mean, or maybe I can say that it is impossible to imagine that time doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. But
Time doesn't
the,
exist means actually um, um, there is no continuity. There is no continuity to anything. There's almost like if time doesn't exist, uh, n- uh, nothing exists.
nothing's happening. Yeah, there we go. There's the appearance of things, but that's all it is. It's the appearance of things. In actuality, when you really come, those zoom into who you are, everything begins to disappear. There is no time. There is no you. There is no world. There is no floor. There is no sofa. There is no good or bad or right or wrong. There needs to be apparent time for the character. There needs to be things happening for the character to be able to function in this society. But it's seeing that that's all it is a functioning. It's in no way depicting truth. Time is a human invention. Space is a human invention. It's not the laws of the universe. It's something that the mind made up, and this is why science never fits.
Can you repeat it? You were talking about space and it's an invention. Is it what you are saying?
Yeah, an invention of the human mind. It's not an actuality.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It's not. Um, yeah, it's not the nature of reality. The nature of the reality is nothing appearing as everything, and everything being nothing. It's this emptiness and fullness. Which means there's no time, there's nothing apparently happening. It's so mad. It's so out of the scope of what we know on the human level. The human is always in subject, object, in things, destination.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And everything is screaming that. The trees are screaming it, the birds are screaming it, the dog barking. Everything is screaming this absolute mystery of what is. And it's the human that suffers because it believes it knows what is. It believes it knows what life is. It believes it knows what itself is. And then it goes through this imaginary world suffering because of its illusion.
Can we say that in our sleep, deep sleep,
Mm-hmm.
um, the awareness is in its own nature?
Nothing.
In deep sleep, can we say that our deep sleep is a realization experienced? I don't remember it when I get up. Immediately, my memory of what I am and the world comes into me. But um, when I am sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, there is nothing going in from the world, and I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Can we say that? Can we say that at that point, uh, it's like a realization, state of realization? Or what is the difference between my deep sleep or when I am consciously realized or enlightened? Like you are in the state, actually, you are in that state of enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the difference between that state and the deep sleep state?
Deep sleep is nothing. Like nothing's happening in deep sleep.
Okay.
So you could say um, what we imagine it to be is not true. So you've got an imagination of deep sleep, and everything that you imagine about deep sleep isn't deep sleep because it's something that is a form that you've put onto it. So deep sleep
Oh,
is nothing. It's not a thing that we can imagine happening. But it's so amazing that it's so free deep sleep of any containment that it doesn't even exist. So deep
what?
sleep doesn't even have existence in it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like it doesn't have it never exists, deep sleep.
Okay. Okay.
That
Yeah.
sounds so conceptual, and it's like the best
Okay.
I can do with it. But deep sleep never comes into manifestation.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right.
And what happens in life, as opposed to deep sleep, is its manifestation. But manifestation contains half of it is that deep sleep, you could say. But when life is happening, it's in existence. So therefore, it's recognizing itself. But that doesn't mean that everything is secondary to nothing. Like everything and nothing are the same thing. Everything is that nothingness. So a lot of teachers would say that that nothingness is prior, is the like true source of who you are. But also everything is who you are. Like it's not so simple as that, because we never have deep sleep. We never have non-existence. It's always existence and non-existence simultaneously happening, because non-existence doesn't exist. That
Oh,
sounds
okay.
so crazy. That's so deep. That's so hard to put into words.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. I mean, I understand that it is difficult to put it into words. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, other teachers would say stuff like, and I really appreciate that too. I'm not meaning to say that it's lesser or anything, but other teachers, and maybe on a different day, I would say, deep sleep is consciousness at rest.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Lisa.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Ari. Yeah.
patiently answering.
Oh, with pleasure. Thank you for the questions. I enjoyed that. Thank you. Nice. Okay, bye, Ari. I think I lost contact then.